Parents have so much on their plates, checking an 11-year-old's credit report likely won't top the to-do list. But after investigators arrested 8 people, including a Buffalo firefighter, on charges of using the personal information of children for a line of credit, some parents are on edge.
I have not seen it with children, and it's amazing if they got anywhere with that.
How did this even happen?
I don't know what creditor would grant credit to an 8-year-old. I mean, you would think that they would need some verification of their age.
Experts say criminal activity is getting more innovative.
They can then, couple their social security number with maybe somebody else's date of birth that is an adult. So then they can open up credit cards, open up other accounts.
Not catching this early can have long-standing ramifications for children who usually only find out when they're opening a credit card or applying for student loans.
They open this line of credit, they borrow money, they default, they don't pay it, and then they sue the child and get a judgment against him or her, which could last for 20 years, be enforceable for 20 years.
There's not a lot you can do to prevent your kids from being targets, except keep a close watch. If your child does fall victim, it'll be an uphill battle to settle the issue with credit bureaus.
It could take a while. I mean, you're dealing with a huge bureaucracy, at a credit card company, but I think you just have to be persistent. And if they won't remedy it, then you can sue under the Fair Credit Reporting Act for false reporting a debt.
And the Better Business Bureau also is warning parents to keep an eye on children who are gaming online. Make sure they know not to answer questions about their address, phone number, or parents' maiden names. If you start getting collection calls for your child, that is a red flag. You need to look into it. In studio tonight, Madison Carter, 7 Eyewitness News.
Madison, thank you. Right now, you'll find links to all 3 credit monitoring companies so you can keep a close eye on your family's financial health.
New tonight, a Buffalo photographer facing child porn charges is now free on $250,000 bond. Delshawn Trueheart is accused of having a sexual relationship with an underage teenage girl. Investigators say Trueheart also took nude photos of the girl and recorded them having sex. According to investigators, video of those encounters were found at his studio on East Delavan in Buffalo. Trueheart faces a minimum of 15 years in prison if convicted.
Also tonight, the 7 Eyewitness News I-Team now digging into the issue of slumlords in Buffalo.
This morning, we first told you about an Allentown landlord who has some of the worst homes on Buffalo's most exclusive streets. But where is he tonight? Chief Investigator Charlie Specht working this angle, all new at 5.
Well, Chuck DeBucky may be the most wanted man in Buffalo Housing Court, and today was supposed to be Judgment Day for Allentown's unpopular landlord. But DeBucky did not show up for court on charges he neglected to maintain homes on Cottage Street and another on St. Louis Place, the ones on your screen here. That led Housing Court Judge Patrick Carney to issue 3 warrants for DeBucky's arrest, a move that neighbors are viewing with cautious optimism.
The fines and the jail time have to be meaningful. And I think it's very sad that this person might end up in jail because in my estimation, there's an assessment that needs to be done to see why he is acting the way he's acting, because it defies all logic.
Now, if DeBucky is tracked down and arrested, the city is recommending bail be set at $225,000, and the judge says DeBucky won't be able to put up his properties as assets to meet that amount. Now, there was at least one buyer in court today who would like to take these properties off of DeBucky's hands. You'll hear more from him coming up at 6. We also have a rare interview with the housing judge who issued the warrant for the landlord's arrest. Live in the newsroom, Charlie Specht, 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Charlie. It looks like we'll get a sneak peek of spring before the snow and rain returns. 7 First Alert meteorologist Andy Parker tracking the very latest tonight.
Yes, we are. We're keeping an eye on a few showers that are sticking around in sections of the southern tier. Let me introduce you to the temperatures that are outside right now. Pretty comfortable. We've crossed the 50-degree mark, 55 in Batavia, 54 in Warsaw. There are a couple of cooler spots where we're finding a few of those rain showers in sections of the southern tier. We'll take you down there right now. Winds are decidedly south and a bit gusty as well as we head through the evening hours. We'll see those taper off. There's an hour-long time lapse of what what we're dealing with, and you can see some of the showers sliding through sections of the southern tier. The north towns had their taste much earlier this morning, came in around 10 o'clock or so in Niagara County. Let's zero in on the Valley of Bradford, right along the New York-Pennsylvania line, down along the 219 to Lewis Run, Keating, Otto, and Port Allegheny, seeing a few of those. Bolivar, Wellsville is about the northern section of that. It's right along the Pennsylvania line, Shingle House, Ulysses, all the way down to Coudersport, Austin, and Abbott. So that's where we have a few of the light rain showers now. They will be moving out, but as you look to the west, there's a clump of rain out there. That will be translating our direction. At the bus stop tomorrow morning, you can pretty much plan on having the umbrellas out, especially in the southern tier. The north towns will have lighter rain. There'll be some dry time on Friday, but the first half of the weekend will be wet. We're watching the switch to white for Sunday. There's a lot coming our way. I'll fill you in straight ahead.
Oh boy, be prepared for a roller coaster. Thank you, Andy. Remember, you can always stay one step ahead of the weather when you download the free WKBW app.
Hiring 716, of course, our commitment to connecting you with job opportunities here in Western New York. And a quick heads up, the deadline is tomorrow for students to apply for a paid summer internship in the Buffalo Mayor's office. Students will work 20 hours a week during the 6-week program. It begins on July 8th and runs through August 15th. Students must be a City of Buffalo resident between the ages of 14 and 21. You can submit applications at buffalony.gov or in person at the Department of Community Services. Straight ahead here on 7 Eyewitness News at 5, Out of Bounds. Coming up, a guilty plea from a legacy Ivy League coach, why authorities say his cooperation was crucial to unraveling the college cheating scheme.
Then, amazing video as a good Samaritan steps in, saving the life of a helpless puppy.
And all new at 5:30 tonight, a cancer diagnosis turned his world upside down. Now one young father sending a message that could save your life.
But first, what a legacy. We're taking you inside the historic Wurlitzer building as a new era begins for this Niagara County landmark. You're watching 7 Eyewitness News at 5.
Do you have a tip for the 7 Eyewitness News I-Team? Call the I-Team tip line at 840-7750 or email iteam@wkbw.com. You're watching 7 Eyewitness News with Jeff Russo, Ashley Rowe, and 7 First Alert meteorologist Andy Parker.
A harrowing scene unfolding overseas. Dozens of firefighters are on scene in the Bangladeshi capital, where a blaze consumed part of a 22-story high-rise building. At least 2 people are dead, 39 injured. Firefighters believe a handful of people might still be inside. Some even jumped from windows to escape.
Obamacare is a disaster. It's too expensive by far. People can't afford it.
A new pledge on an old campaign promise. Tonight, President Trump reigniting the fight over the Affordable Care Act. The move follows Monday's decision by the Justice Department asking a court to overturn Obamacare as unconstitutional.
If the courts agree to strike down the law, an estimated 52 million people may no longer have coverage due to pre-existing conditions. Also at risk here, nearly 13 million people who get coverage under the ACA's Medicaid expansion, and more than 2 million young adults who are covered because of the provision allowing them to stay on their parents' plans. Some Republicans and even members of Trump's own administration oppose this move, saying there's no replacement plan.
The Republican Party owes the country as an alternative approach to Obamacare.
If he has some good ideas for improving the ACA, those initiatives need to be put forth first.
This case will ultimately be decided once again by the Supreme Court.
And this controversy coming on the heels of President Trump's plans to slash funding to programs that benefit disabled and disadvantaged people, like the Special Olympics. Budget Director Betsy DeVos in the firing line this week.
Do you know how many kids are going to be affected by that cut, Madam Secretary?
Mr. Pocan, let me just say again, we had to make some difficult decisions with this budget.
Again,
Can our local chapter survive this potential loss of funding? Ala Arabi working this story. She'll have it for you all new at 5:30. Meantime, there is a push underway to give the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris a more youthful spin.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. The International Olympic Committee Executive Board backing a recommendation to bring some new sports to the event. They include breakdancing, skateboarding, even surfing. A final decision will be made at the end of next year's Olympics in Tokyo.
I kind of like the idea of some breakdancing.
I would say you could probably gold medal in breakdancing.
Oh,
actually.
thank you. Thank you. All new at 5, fresh fallout from the growing college admissions scandal. The former women's soccer coach at Yale now admitting he pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes. Here's ABC's Maggie Rulli with the latest.
This afternoon, another guilty plea in what prosecutors are calling the largest college admissions scam ever. One of the coaches in the scandal, Rudy Meredith, not speaking to reporters as he entered this Boston courthouse, is pleading guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud, facing possible jail time and ordered to forfeit nearly $900,000 he received in alleged bribes. The former women's soccer coach at Yale for more than 20 years was a legacy, the head coaching position even endowed in his name. Now his guilty plea comes as part of an agreement he signed earlier this month. Authorities say his cooperation was crucial to unraveling the nationwide scheme and leading to its accused mastermind, Rick Singer. According to court documents, Singer paid Meredith $400,000 for recruiting a student who he falsely described as the co-captain of a prominent club soccer team in Southern California, despite knowing that the applicant did not even play competitive soccer. In a separate incident, the documents state that Meredith personally met with the father of an applicant in a Boston hotel, asking for $450,000 for his child's acceptance into Yale. That meeting recorded by the FBI.
12 other people indicted in the scheme appeared in court earlier this week, including 6 other coaches. All of them pleaded not guilty. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Also tonight, the Queen City now preparing for the NCAA Frozen Four. And today, local tourism leaders working with area restaurants, hotels, breweries, and more want to make sure that they're ready to go, ready to bring their A game for the college ice hockey championships here. All downtown hotels expected to be sold out. The tournament itself estimated to bring in roughly $4 million.
This is a great time of year for us to have a tournament like this in Buffalo, and $4 million, we'll take that anytime that we can get it.
Frozen Four big event runs April 11th through the 13th.
It's a story that starts way back in 1892 when construction first started on the iconic Wurlitzer building in North Tonawanda. Today, a new chapter begins within the walls of this 126-year-old landmark. A lot has changed within the Wurlitzer over the years. Now, a local brewery is raising a glass, toasting another 100 years of success.
Our very own Rebecca Thornburg working the Western New York development beat tonight.
Instead of music from brand new organs, pianos, and jukeboxes, the sounds of customers is now filling the air of the Wurlitzer building on Niagara Falls Boulevard in North Tonawanda. And this is just the beginning.
Be able to be relaxed and have good beer and good food and good times.
Owners of the Woodcock Brothers Brewing Company from Wilson are getting ready for their grand opening of their second location. And they say this historic building is the perfect fit.
A great location, 50-some thousand cars a day go down here, so how better can you expand your brand than that?
Ask anyone from the Tonawandas, and there's a good chance they had a family member who worked inside this building. Decades ago, the Wurlitzer Company produced organs, pianos, and jukeboxes from the 1930s into the late 70s. At one time, this was the largest musical instrument plant in the world.
We want to continue to see something that symbolizes the past, present, and future of this community.
Restoring the historic Wurlitzer building started 6 years ago. Then in 2016, Platter's Chocolate Factory became the first business to move in, opening a cafe and chocolate shop. The sprawling complex also includes a full ballroom.
We feel like we're in the heart of North Tonawanda. The building is just coming alive.
The Woodcock Brothers Brewing Company opens tomorrow at 11 a.m. and developers and small business owners hope this is just the beginning of small businesses flourishing here in the Wurlitzer building. In North Tonawanda, Rebecca Thornburg, 7 Eyewitness News.
Please buckle your seatbelts and keep your hands inside the ride at all times as we get ready for a roller coaster forecast. Here is 7 First Alert meteorologist Andy Park, keep your arms inside. Andy,
That's
okay?
about it, yes.
Right.
And any loose objects, make sure that they don't fall out along the ride. Hello, everybody. 53. Boy, it was nice to finally get into these 50s and soak them up. The rain was sparse in the north towns early on in the day, and then it kind of hopped over some of that cool breeze, and now it's settled down here in the southern tier. Let me put the winds on here. They're still moving out there, and they've got some gusts around 25, 30 miles an hour. We were between 55 and 60 off to the east. The closer you were to the lake, it cooled down a little bit. But now that that southwesterly breeze is given up, Buffalo back bouncing into the 50s. Look how close we were. Just at the other end of Lake Erie, 67. That was supposed to be ours. Missed it by half the length of a lake. 59, they hit 60 in Pittsburgh. Either way, it was pretty cool to be that close to those numbers. Now, it does look like tomorrow we take a slight step backwards. This is where we are tonight. We'll deal with the rain right now. It's exiting areas of our southern tier, moving pretty quick as well. As you can see, Coudersport, this pulled out of Bradford in rapid fashion. Wellsville, I mentioned you're right at the top end. You're done. It's now going to slide down here to Allegheny, Sweden, and Ulysses. We're back to, where is it? There's Bradford on the end of the 219. You're done as well. These exit were dry for a bunch of hours this evening if you want to get out and enjoy it. And take a look what's taken over the shoreline of Chautauqua Lake. This was all covered in birds just in the last half hour.